the US dollar is coming to an end as we know it. We can see that all these other currencies, countries are broke, things are going to shift. So this is the next part of their plan.
Here, the U.S. military has reached agreements with aliens and conducts scientific experiments with humans as an exchange.
His name is Funky Fathead, and he immediately went missing after creating an instructional video on how to make a portal. His YouTube account had over 80,000 subscribers, which is an asset and it's actually worth a lot of money. And that's exactly why his story went viral.
Is in Sedona, and it is
oh
a
shit,
well-known,
yo, that's an actual
vortex
portal
phenomenon.
The portal he opened leads to Sedona, Arizona, which is famous for UFO sightings and vortexes. But here's the thing, people are skeptical of his story because computer software can easily...
You can see fucking the desert inside of the portal. What's up, guys? Welcome back to my channel. I'm Nurse Dre. Thank you so much for stopping by today and hanging out with me. If the universe has led you here in a crazy twist of fate, hit that subscribe button. You will not be disappointed. Let's jump right into these crazy TikToks that have drive people mad all day long. And this is the crazy news shit nobody's seen yet. So let's dive right in. Let's go.
Do y'all remember this show, Stranger Things? What if I told you that this show is actually a documentary to show you what the government is doing in secret rather than just some fictitious TV show? This is called predictive programming, and to summarize it, it's basically when the media uses psychological conditioning to put these things out there and make them seem like they're sci-fi or they're fictitious, when in reality, these are the agendas that they're carrying out in secret, and I'll show you how. This show was based off of a real-life organization called CERN, and as you can see here in their logo, they got the 666. This organization operates in Geneva. It's a place in Switzerland. This is a photo of inside of their organization. This looks strangely similar to the portal that was used in the show Stranger Things. Even a whistleblower who worked in the organization sounded the alarm that something evil is going on here. This organization is actually opening up interdimensions and allowing demonic creatures to come into our human dimension. Does the Bible have to say anything about that? It actually does. Ephesians 6:12 makes it very clear, we don't wrestle just with flesh and blood, but against principalities, the rulers of the darkness of this world, and spiritual wickedness in high places. Yes, Satan and demons are real, but this also means that Jesus Christ is real and he is king. I hope you guys get right with the Lord today.
Okay.
Think about the doctor who took the x-rays of this thing. Marco Leal, thank you Marco, you're the man. Marco Leal found him 8 years ago, and he was like, he confirmed the story. He was still working at regional hospital. He goes, I'll never come forward. Marco kept going every year back and forth, and he retired. 4 years after he retired, he agreed to meet with us. He wasn't even sure he was going to go on, and I said, look man, we'll film you from the back, we'll disguise your voice. Showed us photographs of him at the hospital. We know we've been trying to get at him. Excuse me, at the end of the interview, he said, thank you, I feel so much better. I've been shouldering that burden for 26 years, and I've so desperately wanted to tell somebody, to share that story with the rest of the world. And you meet these people, and you think, why on earth they didn't come to us? They're not trying to sell their story. We tracked them down and begged and pleaded with them to come forward.
That's creepy. But why the loud music? Shit.
I've got a secret. Recently, I was reading some information from Dr. Mark Hyman, a functional medicine specialist. And he talked about all the ways magnesium was used when he worked in the hospital emergency room. It was a critical medication on the crash card. If someone was dying of a life-threatening irregular heartbeat, for example, they used IV magnesium. If someone was constipated or needed to prepare for colonoscopy, they were given a bottle of liquid magnesium citrate, which emptied their bowels. If pregnant women came in with preterm labor or high blood pressure, complications of pregnancy, or seizures, they gave them IV magnesium. The sad truth is magnesium is mostly ignored in the medical community today because it's not a drug, even though it is more powerful than some drugs in many cases. And given that magnesium has so many positive uses, it only makes sense that if you don't have enough of this nutrient, you're going to notice it. Here are a few signs of magnesium deficiency: muscle cramps or twitches, insomnia, irritability, sensitivity to loud noises, anxious feelings, trouble focusing or concentrating, palpitations, chest pain, constipation, headaches, chronic fatigue, obesity, osteoporosis, high blood pressure, PMS, irritable bowel syndrome, reflux, trouble swallowing. Whew. Magnesium deficiency has even been linked to inflammation in the body. And as a matter of fact, 65% of people admitted to the ICU are deficient in this critical mineral. So as I continue to recover from my recent emergency surgery and hospital stay, I treasure even more what I do on a daily basis to reduce inflammation in my body. Daily happy juice and evening magnesium glycinate supplements. I'm Debbie Hennett, retired RN after 40 years experience, certified mental wellness coach, and certified integrative nutrition coach. Comment more please, and I will send you my happy plan.
Wow. How many of you have one of those symptoms or all of them?
The secrets of Area 51 have finally been unveiled. This video may cause discomfort. Please watch it under parental guidance. Area 51 is one of the most mysterious bases of the United States Air Force. According to insiders, Area 51 is a place for communication and experiments with extraterrestrial beings. Here, the U.S. military has reached agreements with aliens and conducts scientific experiments with humans as an exchange. The main purpose of these experiments is to study the genetic similarities between humans and extraterrestrial beings. They have discovered that there is a 75% similarity in DNA between aliens and humans. The next step for the military is to conduct hybridization experiments between species. As a result, many outstanding Americans go missing in the area every year. In reality, they are not disappearing but rather being taken to the mysterious Area 51. Please forward this video to your friends and family, and advise them not to go out at night, as they might become the next subjects of experimentation.
Okay.
Billionaires selling off their stocks. There's been a lot of articles in Zero Hedge and even mainstream. A lot of my clients have been saying, hey, why are they selling off their stocks? Because we are, in my humble opinion, walking into some of the greatest wealth transfer, and I've been speaking about this for
They're buying Bitcoin.
quite a few years. Not financial advice, you know why we all have to say that. BlackRock is actually going to get their ETF approved. People say, oh, no, they won't. They haven't approved it. They will. It's BlackRock. They're going to get their ETF approved. And here's the thing that you have to understand. This has been part of the process, right? Like the reason XRP took so long is it was all part of their plan. So when they do actually transfers, it costs maybe 2 cents to do a transfer. They're going to charge you maybe $10. All of us that have been in this space for a while, we understand this very well. So the ETFs, once it gets approved, then all of a sudden you've got trillions of dollars flowing in because now everybody's perception is going to be, oh, this is safe. I can have an ETF. You know, there's the general institutions are selling it. It's safe. Let's go. But it's at that point where you're going to see the biggest wealth transfer ever. So the people that have actually been understanding and have their tokens, or they're understanding the blockchain and what it can do in transmission, it's not going away. It is not going away. That's where the biggest wealth transfer is going to come, because here you have to understand there are founders, which were people that got into cryptocurrency probably when, like, what was 2010. Then you have early adopters who say this is kind of cool. They take a risk. You know, why do you think they've been trying to get rid of all the exchanges? And they take a risk. And then BlackRock's ETF and all the other ETFs that are being approved, they're approved in many other countries already. Australia had one, Canada had one. This is then what happens now, the mass adoption comes in. And when mass adoption happens, that's where there's this great wealth transfer. A lot of people think the great wealth transfer is just all these people that have money in the stock market, it's going to be transferred down to their children. And I don't believe that, because if they're going to start to erode, right, the US dollar is coming to an end as we know it. We can see that all these other currencies, countries are broke, things are going to shift. So this is the next part of their plan. And, you know, why would you not know that they're trying to sink the exchanges and they want everybody to think it's bad? It's not going anywhere. It is the future. I know energetically, I'm just telling you an energetic perspective, and I like to watch the analytics behind it as well. And I like to study it and learn, and I think you have to do that. This is a problem why people miss the boat on many opportunities, is because they don't learn, they don't take the time, they just go mainstream, it's bad. Take some time, because this will be the biggest wealth transfer ever, in my humble opinion. On August 13th, I'm doing a Soul Sunday. It's a donation-only event. The link's in the bio. It's called The Financial Reset. I talk about the energy of money, the things I've learned around cryptocurrency and why, and get more into depth. You get a replay, but you got to learn, you got to educate, and you got to start asking why you want to know more about what's going on. We're right at the cusp of major change.
Wow, that was a download right
Famous YouTuber goes missing shortly after making a portal. The case is so strange that it made major news.
The missing YouTuber and his viral video, it's all part of a mystery centered around Sedona, Arizona.
Of course, the popular tourist destination that's known for its scenic beauty and shopping. But don't forget its mysterious side, crystals and energy vortexes.
His name is Funky Fathead, and he immediately went missing after creating an instructional video on how to make a portal. His YouTube account had over 80,000 subscribers, which is an asset, and it's actually worth a lot of money. And that's exactly why his story went viral.
Is in Sedona, and it is
Oh shit, yo, that's an actual
vortex
portal
phenomenon.
The portal he opened leads to Sedona, Arizona, which is famous for UFO sightings and vortexes. But here's the thing, people are skeptical of his story because computer software can easily...
You can see fucking the desert inside of the portal. Like if you walked through it, you'd be in Arizona. That is wicked.
Easily fake images like this. In fact, here's a quick demonstration from a video editor. Because Funky Fathead's legal name never went public, nobody can actually confirm if he went missing. So a missing persons case never opened for him.
Uh-oh.
Opinion of what they were. But they are real, and they are here, and they come from here. And they're the sons of God. They're the fallen angels. And a lot of people may not believe it, but I've seen it firsthand. I've seen some of them that were 25 feet tall. So,
wait, these are aliens at Dulce Base?
They're the Nephilim. Yeah, at Dulce, they do sign. They hate us, believe it or not, and you can feel the hate between the Nephilim and the Greys and all that. They hate us, but they're in some kind of a constraint. And all I can say is that God has them constrained to the point of time. And just recently, of course, I'm sure some of the listeners have heard about the earthquake supposedly in Virginia and Colorado. Those were in fact an 11-kiloton nuclear weapon detonated underneath the ground in Virginia and at one of the underground levels, and 2 5-kiloton nuclear detonations under the Denver airport. And what they're doing is the Nephilim are starting to, I guess God is lifting the constraints off of them, but they blew the entrances with nuclear weapons so that they could trap them in there when there is no trapping them in there. I mean, I've seen them pick up half-ton boulders and throw them like baseballs. There's just no keeping them in there. And they're not totally human, they're spiritual.
And if you don't know, now you know, nigga. Think it's a game?
That's creepy.
Bacteria and everything else. That the bacteria was the foreign element. It didn't belong. And this is what created disease. But when this happened, they said, what are we going to do now? They went back to the councils and they had the meetings, and there was great sadness in the councils. It was like, well, what do we do? Do we wipe the whole thing out and start all over again? Or do we let it continue to develop the way it is, knowing it will never be the perfect people we expected it to be? It was decided that so much work had been done to allow it to continue to develop, even though they knew it would never be perfect. Now, see, a lot of this I think you would go along with if I do UFO lectures on why they're doing the experimentations with the sperms and the ova and all of that. They are bringing us back to the perfect state we are supposed to be. You understand all of these things. There's no negativity in what any of them are doing. They've been taking care of us since the beginning of time. One time they said in one of those sessions, why do people keep saying we're here to take over the world? It's ours. It always has been. We can't do anything to you as bad as you do to yourself. So they've been watching us all this time and taking care of us. And as they lived with the people, they were given these different inventions and things as the time was right. Fire, agriculture. When the species got to that point, they would give them the next invention. Of course, now it's got to the point they can't live among us anymore. There's too many people. So now when the next invention is supposed to be developed, it's put into the atmosphere. They don't care who invents it as long as it is invented in the timeline. And, you know, you always hear about people all over the world are all working on the same invention at the same time. This is why. They put it out there. Whoever gets it, that's fine with them. That's the way they're doing it now. All of the planets. They said when a planet reaches a point when it can support life, that's a very momentous time in the history of that planet. And at that time, they have to decide what kind of life are we going to introduce on that planet. And I think with this kind of a group, you can follow these things because people say, what does God have to do with any of this? God is very much involved too. It's the evolutionary theory and the creationist theory mixed together, and it all fits beautifully the way they explain it. But when I've had people in sessions go back to when the Earth was forming and whenever the volcanoes were erupting, there was no life on Earth. There was just too much ammonia in the air. I've had them go back to those times and tell me what the life was like at that time. I've had them go to the times whenever life was being created. Many of you probably had these past lives too, but you don't remember these things on a conscious level. I've had them go to where they were helping form the oceans, form the first life.
Okay, just for context, this lady is amazing. She, this is Dolores Cannon. She is a hypnotherapist and psychologist, famous for her hypnosis to not only take people to past lives, but to take them into future lives and into life between lives, which is between lives, like the space between lives. And so when she takes them into hypnosis, that's how she takes them back to those days where there was no people on Earth or whatever, you know. That's what she means.
Because we've all been creators. We've all been parts of this. We just don't remember because they're focused on this life right now. But if it's important for the person to know, it will all come out. So I think I'm not going against your belief systems. Just stay with me on this anyway. So when they said the planet got to the point it can support life, there is a group that was called the archaic ones, the ancient ones, have been around forever. They are the ones who began the seeding of the planet Earth. They did it because in their beginning, that's how they started. Someone came and seeded life on their planets. And when they got to the point that they could travel in space, they began going through the galaxies, planting seeds also, and developing races that got to the point where they could carry on the work. Eventually, we're going to be involved in the same thing. And you know, with the curiosity of our scientists, if they find a planet out there they think can grow something, you know they're going to do it. And they said we will be a very welcome addition to what they call the Federation because of our curiosity and our creativity. So we will all be a part of this at the time. I've had people go back to when they were there, when the Earth was being cooled down, when the oxygen, the ammonia in the air was being taken out so that life could form. First you had to have the atmosphere, then you had to have the water, then you had to have the plants. And they were there doing all of these steps. Many of these people have gone to lives where they were the seeders, the planters. And other ones have gone to lives when they were the recorders, where they had to go back and see how things were advancing, how they were developing. All of this must have taken millions of years, but this is part of what they do. They go throughout the galaxy checking on all these different things. I'm trying not to take too much on one subject here, but it's quite complicated. Okay, so I asked them one time, where did the cells come from that began the whole thing? They said it doesn't matter. They come from everywhere. As they travel through the universes, they are collecting cells.
Wow, that's amazing. Wow, what a video. What do you think? Let me know down below. What do you think about Dolores Cannon and her journey that she has been led through? She states that she talks to these alien creatures that just talk to her and tell her what, like answer her questions and stuff through these people she hypnotizes. Anyway, would you like to do a session like that? Let me know down below. And if the universe has led you here in a crazy twist of fate, please do hit that subscribe button because you will not be disappointed. Share this with someone who needs to hear these things. We cannot wake people up if we don't tell them how we feel, if we don't tell them our story and what we have seen. We all bring a collective consciousness together, and we will awaken as a planet if we do help each other. So share the video, like the video so that more people can see it, and I will see you in the next one. Thank you so much for hanging out with me tonight. Bye.